That is the changing of the guard. It happened behind us not too long ago. That happened earlier this morning. Pretty cool to have a front row seat to it, so we're happy that we can share it with you. Millions of people will come out to honor the Queen during the next 4 days, and unprecedented security measures will be in place to make sure everything goes as planned. Charlie D'Agata is here with us at Buckingham Palace. He's been checking out what goes into protecting those Diamond Jubilee crowds, and it's nice to see you in person, Charlie.
Good morning to you, Erica. Welcome back to London. Safety and security measures have been underway for months now, and some of them will be on very obvious display over the next few days, and some you won't see at all. British forces are preparing for the biggest royal security operation in history.
This will be bigger than the royal wedding in terms of the length of time it's going on for. It's a whole weekend, 4 days in fact, of celebrations.
That's like having 4 royal weddings like last year's back to back. Over the past month, police and sniffer dogs have been scouring every inch of central London in the search for explosives. The center attraction is a potential security nightmare, Sunday's Jubilee pageant. 1,000 boats with tens of thousands of people on board will follow the Queen and every other senior member of the royal family down the River Thames.
This is a pretty unique undertaking for us. Thousands of stewards, 6,000 police officers, combining everything you can think of: air support, marine support, firearms, and the good old British Bobby, making sure they're visible, looking after the crowd.
They'll be protected by a fleet of Royal Navy and police vessels ranging from high visibility crafts to unmarked speedboats with specialist armed forces on board. Police frogmen, already on exercise for the upcoming Olympics, have carried out underwater searches. More than 1 million people are expected to line the banks and thousands more on bridges, which will all be shut down to traffic for the entire day. 13,000 security forces will be positioned in London. Any vacation leave has been cancelled. Peter Clark is the former head of counter-terrorism for Scotland Yard.
Well, what you're not seeing, obviously, is the covert surveillance that's going on all day, every day, carried out by both MI5, the security service, and the police to counter the terrorist threat.
A terrorist threat that London is no stranger to. In July 2005, suicide bombers on subway trains and a bus killed 52 people. The capital is also no stranger to violent civil unrest. London burned last summer in 4 days of rioting after the police shooting of an unarmed man. The authorities appeared powerless to stop it. The Queen's been vulnerable too. In 1981, a man in the crowd fired a gun with blanks as the Queen rode in front of Buckingham Palace. And just last month, a lone protester on the Thames was all it took to bring the esteemed Oxford-Cambridge University boat race to a stop.
There will always be vulnerabilities in any big open city. You can't stop every single threat. But what you have to try to do is get ahead of it. And that's what the authorities here have been working on for years to try to do.
Of course, the big main event is when London goes into lockdown. They're closing off 7 bridges, and this is a list of the road closures. It is 10 pages long.
One of our producers said it probably would have made more sense to actually do a list of the roads that are open.
Yeah, that would have been a shorter
list. The security, obviously, the royal wedding last year was a warm-up to the Jubilee, which is a warm-up to the Olympics. What is the single biggest concern that they have?
The intelligence officials that we spoke to said their biggest concern is a lone wolf, somebody acting on their own. In theory, surveillance and intelligence would have picked up anything that was an organized threat. But what they said is that's where they're really depending on the crowd for eyes and ears. And also, if anybody steps out of line, they're going to have thousands of angry Brits on their case.
Yes, they will. Gail, it's a lot like what we hear in New York. If you see something, say something.
Yes, yes. And I'm thinking, Erica, you guys are in such a great location. I know you can't reach out and touch Buckingham Palace, but literally it looks like you could, if you wanted to, reach out and say, "Hello, Queen, I'm here. May I come in for some tea?"
Yeah, we were waving earlier, Gail. Hello, hello.
We're certainly right in the front yard, that's for sure.
We are. It's not a bad spot.
And Eric, it says 4 days of celebrations. What did you and Charlie bring the Queen? What does one bring a Queen for her Jubilee? I'm very curious.
What do you bring the Queen? I mean, there are a lot of cupcakes around. Maybe that's the right start.
Well, Gail likes cupcakes. Maybe I'll bring you home a cupcake.